Hello, everyone, and welcome to part three of our growth and retention series. Today we are going to go ahead and go over the actual application of the product so that you can go ahead and see how to apply to get great results and to retain and maintain that length. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just go over this briefly. I'm not going to read everything word for word because we have the actual tutorial tonight, and I talked through many of the steps in there. But I know that several did request a 1, 2, 3, 4 step image, so we went ahead and made that up for you guys. So the application method that changed everything. And then we have step one, step two, step three, step four, and we don't have to go into them in much detail because we're gonna go ahead and show the video now, and we're gonna show the actual steps and talk through everything there. And then I'll go ahead and come back here and we can go ahead and just do our final thoughts and I'll answer any questions. Does that sound great? Thank you guys. Okay, and then Lisa is here too, so we'll go ahead and see her hair today. And today is day two for her, so you guys can go ahead and see the finished result after we watch the video. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and share that with you guys. And here we go. Enjoy. Hi family, so today we're going to show you guys a new technique on how to apply the new and improved formula, and we're also going to like maybe tell you what to tell your stylist if you're going to the salon, if you're adding your product or taking it with you. So Lisa, if you can just go ahead and take off your head tie and just explain to us what you've done with your hair.
Yeah. All I did is washed it. I did the sections that we learned, and I washed them and just let them dry.
Okay, so tell us how. So in the video when we wash our hair, the first thing that we do before we add water is we want to detangle. If you have tangled hair and it's really hard to get through, you can use a little product to get through those sections as a detangler. Then once you detangle, you can just go ahead and get in the shower, and you will add your shampoo and you will wash. If you have really, really thick hair that tends to tangle a lot, you probably want to wash everything in sections. Once you wash it, you go ahead and you add the deep conditioner in there, and then you section it into like 6, 8 sections, depending on how you like to do your hair. And then you actually rinse it out in the twist, and then this is the result, and then you just allow it to dry, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do, traditionally in a wash and go, we would take these down, we would, fluff the hair, make sure it's detangled again and everything. So what we're going to do, today we're focusing also on retention and hair growth. So the less manipulation you do with your hair, the more retention you're going to have. The more careful you handle your hair, the more retention you're going to have. So instead of us, taking a comb, combing this out while it's dry, no product on it, and then combing everything out so that we can apply product, we're going to go ahead and apply the product while it's actually in the twist. And what this also does is this allows us to get the hair to the roots much easier. A lot of times people say, hey, I have shrinkage, or hey, my hairstyles are not coming out the way I want them to, but they really don't start applying product until maybe like an inch, within, an inch away from the scalp. So they have like a little fro, or they have like a little fuzzy part at the top, and that's a lot of your length right there also. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and we're going to firstly apply the product. We're using our new and improved formula, and we're going to just apply it as a deep conditioner. So we're going to go ahead and condition it. And when I apply it, I'm applying it like I'm applying it right to the scalp. So I'm applying it through the hair, but I want it to be on the scalp. And that's going to not only aid in your growth, it's going to also aid in the consistency of your hairstyle. And this is also the best time to handle your edges and everything too. So you want to get everything conditioned. And this is just a lot less traumatic than taking your hair down and spreading everything out and then trying to get back to the roots again. Does that make sense, Lise?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And then even when you wash your hair, you always just want to handle it with care. Um, when you're in the shower, just make sure that if your hair is thicker, make sure that you take your time with each section so that you are retaining hair and that the hair that you actually have is staying healthy. And you don't have to do much outside of using the product. And then you guys can just see like the difference in the texture already. If you can just by just applying the product right here. Okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do that section. So right now we're just really putting it on as a deep conditioner. And instead of just putting this on right here and taking this down, what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and do the entire head so that it gives this time to actually, penetrate and work on the hair. So when we take it down, we're just taking down beautiful curls and I'm just going to touch them up. And it's going to be a much easier style and it's going to help a lot more with the retention. It's going to be a lot less stress on the hair and a lot less guesswork in your styling too. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I apply product very heavy-handed, but I mean apply product maybe like once or twice a week, and that's like and then after that it's pretty much you can just do it maybe yeah, right, Lisa?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, some people they apply a lot less product because they, prefer the daily maintenance, but that's not our thing. Okay. And even though we are applying very, very liberally, this is the same product we're using to style the hair. So it's not like, oh, it's gonna go to waste. No, it's not. You want to give your hair enough nourishment for your hair to thrive. If your hair is still fuzzy, it's going to be fuzzy at the end. So make sure that go ahead and just give your hair, exactly the amount that it needs for the style that you are trying to complete. And I know we always discuss in our group, a lot of people say, like, at first when they start using the product, they have to use a lot more. But when your hair gets, a lot more used to it, when your hair gets a lot more trained, then, you can tend to use a lot less, especially for the maintenance. And we're just going to apply it like we're applying a perm. Let me stop being sloppy, Be a little more neat. Okay. And the product really penetrates. So when we're putting it in the braid, it's actually really getting in the hair in there, just like it penetrates through the hair and gets on the scalp. When I apply it to your hair, do you feel it on your scalp?
I do. It feels cool on my scalp.
Yeah, it really, really aids in scalp health.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, ladies, I'm going to interrupt one time. So this is where we want to really get the product in because this is the time that we're applying the product. If you see frizz right here, if you see things that are not smoothed out, you're going to see them later. So this is it. Like this is the only time in the process where we're looking to smooth everything out with the hair, especially on the scalp and the edges. So take your time and do this part right, and it's going to be the equivalent of leaving in a deep conditioner as far as contributing to the scalp health and restoration. Now, Lisa does not like to grow her hair out. It's a lot more work the longer your hair is. So
I think I cut it not long ago.
But if you guys are going for retention, just follow these steps and you will have a lot less breakage and you'll see a lot more growth.
Yeah, sorry, Sybil. It's hot here.
Okay. And this is the point of the style where I want to see like the waves and everything. So if you don't see that yet, then you want to make sure that you apply more and just give it a chance to sit in, so that it can penetrate your hair and do its thing before we take it down. But you really want to see that before you start working on the individual sections. You want to see everything looking juicy. You don't want to see anything looking fuzzy, because this is the time where you fix all that in your hairstyle. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, there may be some points where you want it to be a little more fuzzy, like just say if I want a little bit more volume and I don't want it to be, as smooth, then that's totally fine. You can go ahead and just leave it. You can actually do it much looser. Actually, if you take your twist down, you can just go ahead and do it and just style it the way that you want to without having to, see how it's going to turn out. But we'll just do it this way for this time. This is just for the length retention. And you guys should see how, it does 4C hair with the curls. I don't know if you guys can see that. It just literally just put it on your hair and glide it down, and it just turns into curls. Okay. Now, also with these wash and goes, another benefit is these wash and goes will last 4 weeks plus. And I'm talking about like 4 weeks to maybe like 3 months. Some people go without washing their hair. The way that the product is formulated is not greasy. It does not attract, it's not oily. It does not attract dirt. It actually repels dirt by casting the hair and filling it in with the nourishing products. This product does have a lot of ingredients. I know it looks white and plain, but it's a lot that goes into this. And also, this will really aid in your growth and retention by not washing your hair as much if you don't have to, because you're putting a lot less tension and stress on your hair by taking it down, and detangling it and then putting everything back together again if you don't necessarily have to. If you have the exact same look, if you have no odor or anything. Okay, and this is where we want to see the waves. I'm putting a little bit more on there so I can seal that in. And you say, well, how much should I put on there? However much your hair needs to get the desired result you're looking for. If you're looking to have like a nice defined wash and go with length that's shiny, you want to make sure that you see waves and everything right here. And if you're looking to have a more, freer form, bigger style, just make sure, that you just take everything down first, and then you can just put the product on as you would for daily use. And you don't have to go nearly as heavy as I'm going right now. But I like to do this right after the wash, because if you do this one time, you don't have to do this anymore. Like, you can just put very minimal product on for the next couple of weeks or even months and still have the exact same look as you would have on like day 2 or 3, which are the best hair days. Would you agree, Lisa? Or
yes, for sure.
Okay. Okay, and we can just go ahead and turn it down. Okay, and while I'm finishing this side, can you turn back around so I can see this side? Okay, do you guys see the waves and everything? Okay, just put it down a little bit. So when you see, this is where you want to see the waves and everything. You don't want to see any frizz, okay? So now so everything is ready right here. So while I'm finishing applying to this side, can you start taking these down on this side? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I need you to turn back. Okay, well, I guess they can watch you just take them down. Just take them down gently. You want to just slide everything. If you need a little bit more formula on your fingertips, just let me know. And if you guys don't want to do braids either, you can just do little mini twists or anything that is, you know, going to section the hair into 8 sections so that we can stretch it and we can start on dry stretch. Okay, guys, so really quick, I've been saying something for years and a lot of people did not get it. I always tell people when I take down my bun, I take down curl. So if I have my bun up for 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks, I just wet it and take it down and the curls fall down just like this. So when I take my bun down, no matter how long it's been up, there is no tangling because it's been, you know, put up, it was detangled before it got put up and I'm taking it down. There is no friction or anything because it's like my curls just fall down. I can like literally wear my hair in the wash and go after I take my bun down. And this is pretty much the method right here. When you see the hair comes down, you're going to see she's taking down curls. It's not an afro that she has to rehydrate and get back curly and then you try to get back to the roots and stuff. Their curls are already there, okay? Stretched hair. Now the way that this product dries is we know that it's light. Some people say, well, they can't really handle my 4C hair. My hair is like really, really thick and everything, but this it dries with a hold. So this is a complete all-in-one system, and it's the equivalent of you putting like a deep conditioner on, then go ahead and putting your product on, then sealing it with like a nice holding spray so you can lock your hairstyle in. Even out here in Vegas, it's very, very windy, and if you just have like those like nice little pretty soft curls, that may look nice while you're in your bathroom, but when you go outside and the humidity hits it or the wind hits it, or you know, it starts to blow the little dirt and everything, because you know it's like real, you know, it's real, you know, nice or oily or juicy and things like that, and it's not protected, then you're gonna have, you know, those issues where you have to wash more frequently, or you're finding that your hair does not feel as clean. And you say, hey, I couldn't believe anybody let their hair go 2 or 3 months without washing it, but we really don't have to. And are they just coming down? No issues? Okay. Yeah. Okay, you can just go ahead and relax for a while. You need, okay, great. Thank you. And y'all, you see how manageable the hair is? You see how we already have all this done already? Everything's already conditioned. Now, literally, if you just want, well, you actually do want, but if you want like a more thicker look, you don't have to add any more product. You can even, you know, so let me just show you two, because everything is not the same. So we have 2 combs here, right? When you're working with natural hair, you want to work with the combs that always have the most space between the teeth, okay? So this one has a lot less space, this one has more space. Why does that matter? Because if you're doing one with a lot less space, when you're gliding through your hair, it's going to comb your product out. You don't necessarily have to use one at all, but if you do use a comb, you want to make sure that you use one that has you know, wider teeth. And I like to use it on the actual ends, especially if you're going for retention and growth, because you're combing everything the same way. You have a lot more, it actually helps a lot more with the pattern and the growth, and you have, you know, a lot less breakage later and a lot more retention. So let's just go ahead and make sure that we get a nice, so you guys see the texture right there. We just literally just pick it down out of the
Braid.
out of the braids after she, you know, she washed it and everything. So we said start on dry stretch here. We already see the length here. So a lot of people say, hey, I have a lot of shrinkage, but when you start, when you don't stretch the hair, you already start with the hair already up here, and then you add product, and it's not gonna, I mean, at what point does it supposed to stretch out? So this is a really, really good technique to do that, because right now the hair is just swinging and everything, and if you really wanted to, you can just go ahead and have big hair just like this. Just take this apart, and you have a lot more control because you added it a lot more heavily at the roots before you took the braids out. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Do you want more defined, or do you want bigger hair today?
Mm-hmm. I like this.
You like this?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna just fill it in then. So on our ends, so I'm gonna go ahead, take some product, and I'm going to use this for the entire section, okay? So at this point, before we were just applying directly to the scalp, now we're going to go ahead and distribute it evenly across the hands. And this is the same way that you would actually refresh the hair. Okay, let me make sure that we get everything in. Okay, good. Okay. And this is just for the protection of the ends. You just do that praying hands method, just hold it flat, and you want to go all the way down. You guys see that? Everything is, oh, I'm sorry, I need to pull your hair. And that's how you keep that retention. I don't know if you guys just seen that, but I had it all the way down to the end, and then it had got longer, so I had to go back up and pull it down some more, and that's how you can really see your retention on the ends. I do that several times throughout this process, so you don't have to catch it this time, but do that, like seal those ends, get them going the same way, and you will see the length almost immediately. And instead of this being like breakage, this is a curl now. Another thing too is Lisa does need a trim right now. We can go ahead and do a light dusting, you know, a little bit later, anytime. But this does, you know, keep those ends tamed and also form curls out of them instead of you having split ends, okay? And you will retain all that a lot more, okay? So you want to over moisturize a little bit at this point because your hair is going to dry, and the more it dries, the more it's going to revert back to its natural state if it's healthy or if it's not relaxed. Does that make sense? Okay, so now we went ahead and got the whole section moisturized, and then we are just going to go ahead and take smaller sections and just let those curls fall. And I'm just pretty much working the formula that's already on there. And right now I am forming the curls in the size that I want them to be. And you really want to form them from the scalp. Don't start like halfway down the curl, go all the way up to the scalp. And I'm actually going to put a little bit more around the edges because those are the parts that we really want sealed in, because we don't want to have to be doing the edges every day. So even though we're going to have everything else be a little bit more free-form, we really want the edges portion to be neat, because that's going to be the definition of the style. Now when you guys don't like baby hairs and stuff, you don't have to like swing it all the way to your eyebrow. You can just, but you want to make sure that you frame your face with the hairstyle. You just don't want to have like just like fuzz right here. So you can just like, even if you slick it back and don't put it in the front, do something, okay? And then you're also putting product on that spot so you can keep that area nice and healthy too. So we can just do or whatever. You can use an edge brush or anything, but this is just the best time to do this part of the style. Any preference? Okay. because you want it to look intentional, guys. You don't want it to just look like, hey, okay. And this is like the difference between like oh, her hair is pretty, and like, man, her hair is like laid. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, like, you know, you can see you might put thought into that. Okay. Okay. And now these sections, we don't have to be nearly as neat. We just want to make sure that we are neat around the perimeter, because you can have a little bit more volume here if you wanted it. And whenever you want to take the volume down, you just go ahead and get a little bit of product and shingle that section. It's super, super simple. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and take these sections down. Use the product that's on there to make sure that it's distributed all the way to the ends. Okay, so we'll make sure we don't get it. I'm gonna stop and check with you guys. Does everybody feel like they can do everything that we've done up until this point? You can just say yes or no or raise your hand.
Yes,
Yes,
Any questions? Are you guys good? Everything is flowing?
it is.
yes.
Okay, great.
Very
Okay.
nice.
Goody, goody, goody. Okay. Next up, because we start to have curls everywhere. Okay. And then the more sections you separate it in, the more volume you're going to have. So while we want the volume, we want the hair to stay elongated also. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'll show you guys the technique that we're going to do. And it's like usually the nighttime technique that you would use to elongate your hair. I'm going to show you guys this technique really quick. But two things. Number one, we did a braid. It would have came out better if we did a twist instead of a braid. And then number two, you probably want to wait till the hair dries a little bit more before we do it. We did it immediately right after this. So either way, you'll be fine. We had a great result, but I'm just giving you guys tips to get your best results because we lived and we learned a little bit, okay? But instead of the hair going back to its natural state and shrinking up and then you elongate it at night, we'll go ahead and we'll alleviate that by elongating it, you know, for the style right now. And you guys see this way also we're adding a lot less product because we just make sure that everything that each curl has like the same amount of product from root to tip, but we're not sealing it in to make sure that it's like a really, really hard cast and more defined because we want more of a free form look. And we're forming the curls like this from the scalp because these are the curls that you can actually lift, you know, anytime throughout your process. You can actually, once this dries, you can actually lift them, change your style up and everything. You don't have to have your hair down all the time. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So you don't want a lot of, okay, I don't want this to dry on the face, so we're gonna like pull it back right now, but this is gonna be, once it dries, a face curl. And you guys have the luxury of actually planning out where your curls are going to lay instead of just, you know, combing it and just hoping everything turns out where it turns out. And just go from root to tip with the product that you already have on there. And you'll get the most consistent result. And this is how you get like day 3 or 4 hair on like day 1. You won't have like the really hard cast, and then you don't have to really wait for the curls to be, you know, start getting softened up and everything. You actually get that the very first day. You'll still have a little bit of hold because your curl is going to need hold. You don't want to go outside or put a cap on one day and then take it off, and then you get to work and your hair is looking like it did before you did it. So you need that hold. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. And focus on those ends. Go all the way down past. I want you to know people are paying hundreds and thousands of dollars to get Jerry curls and Jerry curl like products just to make their hair look like this.
It
Okay.
looks good. It looks real good.
Thank you. But this is just like right. This is the technique. You guys see, we didn't have any hair loss or anything, right? Like this is like
Right.
coming right out of the shower, right into the style. Once everything dried, we didn't like put any more attention or stress on the hair. It's really, really good. Past the end. A lot of people just stop midway and then just drop it. Go all the way past the end. That's how you keep everything consistent. That's the one of the biggest tips tonight, guys. When you are going from root to tip, you go past the tip. Some people just stop right in the middle, and that's where your hair growth is going to stop. That's where your hair health is going to stop, and the ends look raggedy. You go past the end, you go all the way, and you're gonna start seeing that every time you do it, like every week or two or three, whenever you refresh, you're gonna start seeing it getting longer and longer. Okay, that's how you see the retention. So you guys can watch it right here again. Consistent, and that's how you focus on the retention. And I do want to mention that this is part 3 of our growth and retention series. We've been showing people how to get the actual noticeably longer hair. A lot of people hair grows and they see it, the growth, they see it in the roots and everything, but they don't see the retention, meaning it doesn't like retain the growth. So we're just showing, you know, everyone how to do that. And this is actually a really, really important part of it. And we're really caring for those ends, and you can feel like it's not like, you know, just go all the way and everything is going the same way. You get a lot less friction if it rubs up against your clothes and everything. And then every single hair is not fighting on its own. It's actually a part of a whole unit, so it's going to make it a lot stronger. Okay, now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to go ahead and take that section and we're going to put it in a nice, I'm going to leave the very front down. We're going to put that in a nice loose braid so that when this dries, it's going to dry with, because we're not adding a lot of product to seal it in. So that when this dries, it's going to dry with, a lot heavier, so it's not going to have that shrinkage, and we're not twisting it tight enough so where it's going to look like a twist out. We're just going to take it down and then we're going to let all the individual curls fall back again. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so I want to make sure that we focus on the end, so we're just going to go ahead and seal this part again, and we know everything is going the same way. Can you guys just see how much noticeably longer her hair looks now, opposed to when we first started, when we did like the wash and go, how it looked like a lot shorter and was shrinking up. Now you can see like all the length and everything. This is how the product brings the hair to life. So just want to let you guys know that too. If you're not noticing your growth, just, you know, trust the process. It's probably there. You just have to bring it out during this part. Okay, and as you guys continue to do this, this is going to get long. And one more thing, I'm sorry, but do y'all see how healthy those ends look when they were not healthy before? You see how scraggly, not really scraggly, but they need to be dusted when we first began. Now you see how those curls are formed, and those ends look really, really healthy and nourished. Now those ends would have been cut off before if you had just like blown your hair out like normally, and then just did a trim. Okay, so if you're looking for retention, this is very, very important stuff. These are all the things that help you get the long hair. You know, okay. Longer and longer, I promise you. Okay, now that's section 1. Okay, and then we're just gonna go ahead and do the very same thing. I'm gonna do like 2 sections right here, and then I'll come back and, well, actually, well, I'll just go ahead and do this section, then I'll go ahead back and show everybody the finished results. Okay. So we can just actually keep it. I'm going to fast forward. We know it's at 28 minutes. Okay, we're just going to fast forward right here. So, we'll go professional. So there's no talking on this part, but I like to use my fingers instead of a comb because when I use a comb, the curls are a lot more uniform. But here you can't really tell there. You look really, really uniform. You can't really go wrong with the product because the product clumps in together and forms the curl. But you're not combing any of the product off of the hair either, which is a
Mhm.
big deal when you use the comb for the product. And as we said earlier, you can wait for the braid at the end till it dries a little bit more. Or if you want to go ahead and do a twist instead, that'll work out even better for your style if you're doing like a nice free form looser style. So yes, guys, this is good stuff, right? Are we learning?
It's awesome. Yes.
Okay, good. And we see
Absolutely.
how the curls just pop in, right? No guesswork. And the total time it took us was like maybe like 40, it was like between 45 and 50 minutes. So it didn't take a long time. And I explained a large portion of the time, so it would have been a lot shorter. So don't fret at home if you can't hold your arms up a long time or spend a lot of time on your hair. If you take your time, you can still do it in a very, very reasonable amount of time with this method. It saves you a lot of time. And if you are not a perfectionist, you will love this method too. I had to like really braid the hair too because I couldn't even tell the difference between the curls that I just got done and the curls that were already in because the hair curled up so well. So this is really good if you guys are the curl fanatics. And if you're not good at trimming your own ends. Hey family, it's the
Okay.
next day. So what we did is we just went ahead and
Hey, Sybil.
put a bonnet on last night,
Hi.
and just so the when the hair was drying, just so it was not going to be on the neck, we went ahead and pinned up the back, so to allow it to dry without being on her neck. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and let everything down. And as you see, the curls are nice and preserved, and we were going for a um, more of a freestyle, freelance look, and that's what we pretty much have. Let's see if we can go ahead and get it in. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just tape down the braids that we had put in. And this is the next morning, and her hair was probably about 85, 90% dry. So if you see any like white spots, that's probably where like the product pulled up and we laid on it. And we addressed that here and show you how to get rid of all of that too, guys. and we'll show you the finished result right after this. We'll show you Lisa's hair live. And unlike a twist out, these individual curls are already here, so we don't have to really separate anything. We're just taking it down and then letting those individual curls fall back down. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and take down this section. And I'm going to just lay the bottom down first, and we'll lay the hairs down on top of that so that we don't have to come back and do it more than once. Okay, guys, I'm not going to bore you with this. We just took that hair down from the braids and laid everything down. It looks really, really good. When you do this before you get in the shower, the steam from the shower is going to go ahead and go into the hair, and it's going to like hydrate everything enough so it puffs everything out and it doesn't look like it's morning hair, if that makes sense. Or if you want to, I do not recommend spraying down with water or even misting at this point, because if you leave your hair down for maybe like 15 minutes or so, it'll automatically, go back into the form on its own. So no worries there. And let me go ahead and show you once we let everything down. And then we had let it wait for like 15 minutes. And then what we did was we add, if you want more shine and you let it out, we rubbed it in our hands, and went over the sections again. And then the curl just fell right down. So now let me stop sharing. And Lisa, go ahead and go. Okay. You guys see? And can you turn to the back?
We see your picture up, Emery.
Oh my God. You guys don't see I see it on my screen.
Do you?
No.
Okay.
Okay, hang on one second, then. We're gonna have to go
Yeah, we
ahead.
see Lisa. Oh,
Hang
you
on
see
You're
her?
one
okay.
second.
She's
One
not.
second. Let me spotlight her.
Yeah.
Spotlight.
I got you. Okay. That looks
Okay.
good.
Yes. Let's see. Shake it.
Oh,
This is day 2. Remember, we said we wanted to look like day 4, 3 or 4. After the
yes.
cast is gone, you guys see we're shaking, we're moving. There is no cast, right?
Right.
So if you want to keep it nice and soft and you want to keep it nice and beautiful, you can go ahead and do that and still have everything looking really, really good. And this is day 2. Thank you. You go ahead and turn that off. Okay. Did we learn something today?
What was the very last thing you said after you put everything down? Did you say you put one last little bit of PHC on her hair?
Okay, yep. So let me say that again. It's in the blog, but let me say it because I do want to make sure that we all know that stuff. So you know how people like take down braids or like they take down like their twist out and they put a little bit of oil on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
I just add a little bit of product on mine and rub it in before I start
Okay.
taking everything down. And that
Okay.
way, to me, it like we did like the little braid and like some of the braid, like some of the sections like weren't falling out. If you put a little product on it, they just fall right in line. And also it helps with the shine and to keep everything still like looking good. So your curls won't get frizzy over time, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
So I just put a little bit of product on my hand when I was working with the sections and stuff. So, it kind of serves the same purpose of putting oil on your hand when you're taking down like your twist outs and your braids and stuff.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Anything? Did we
Yeah, I
all
have a
learn?
question.
Yeah.
When for maintenance in the evening, does she put it back in like a light braid or
Yeah.
twist?
Yes, I do. Yep, I braid
Oh,
them
there you
back.
go.
Yep.
Yep. So okay, you go ahead and tell
Yeah, I
them.
just put it back in. I think I did 6 braids again.
Yep.
And if you need to add more product, you can. Up to you.
Yep.
Oh, okay. It looks great.
Thank you.
Y'all, and this is like right, and we talking about like this is like the old method I showed you guys at first when we did like the hard cast and we really like put the curls in. That's really good, but you don't get to for the hair to start looking like this until day like 3 or 4
Yeah.
because the cast is really strong on day 1 and 2 and maybe like part of day 3 so that it can really get those curls in. But with this method, instead of like having to let the cast do the work, we actually did the sweat equity ourselves, and we did the work because we applied to the root while everything was still while everything was still twisted. So we got to be able to get to the roots a lot more easily, if that makes sense. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody need any? I mean, any other questions? Does anybody have like apprehension of trying this technique, or you think that you think it's easier, or you think it'd be more difficult than your regular routine on wash day?
It's more understandable for me now.
Okay, good. And Sybil, I know that you were not here, but I did, per your request, I made the image with the different steps and everything, and a nice brief explanation. And then if you guys want to, you don't have to watch the whole video again. We have everything itemized here. Step one, start on clean and tangle elongated hair, and we tell you how to actually get there. So it's now like, hey, what do I do when I wash it? Step two, we tell you about shampooing and conditioning in sections, and then we talk about how to keep those sections, and then apply the formula while the twists are still in. And then we show you how to separate and shape those curls when those curls fall. And then we talk about for extreme shrinkage, you can go ahead and add twists or the braid so we can keep it elongated. And then how to refresh frizz, if you're still a little bit frizzy, just add a little product from root to end, put that curl back together. And then in the nighttime, you can do your twist, you can do your pineapple, you can do whatever is going to best suit your style for the next day. Does that make sense?
It is filled in about 4 or 5 missing steps ahead.
Oh, really? Yeah, I got you,
Yes.
girl. Girl, you made me work hard this week, okay? I was doing images, okay. I had to write everything out. Then I had to make sure I was recording everything in the right order. So I want to make sure I hear everything for Sybil. So you had me on my job, Sibs.
I love you. I love you. I
Oh,
love
I
you.
love you too. Because you made me better. Like realistically, you made me better. Okay.
Oh, praise God.
Yeah, okay. So does this fill in a lot of the missing pieces for you guys? And it's a lot easier than on wash day, just trying to start from a head full of thick hair, right?
Hmm.
With hair all over the place. And Lisa said it looks, yeah, it does. Lisa said her hair looks way better in person than it does on camera. It does. I concur.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
This is Alberta.
Hi, Alberta.
You said you was going to show how to get out some of the white spots, like when you took it down, like
Yep,
there was a.
absolutely. So, if you have the white spots, I think we talk about it here. If not, okay, let me see. But if it's not here, I'll go back and I'll reread this and I'll put it here. But if you have the white spots, you literally want to just go ahead and rub your hands, I mean your curls from the top to the bottom. So you can evenly distribute the product. If the product is, and usually that happens when you maybe do like a twist or something, and then that product like it twists that part and it adds more product there, so it dries with more product in one spot than the rest of the hair. So you can go ahead and just run it from the root to the end, and you can pull it down to the rest of the curl of that product. Or if it's already dry, you can go ahead and just wet your fingers, not wet your hair, just wet your fingers. So when you wet your fingers and you glide over it, you can just go ahead and rehydrate it, and it'll just go ahead and be a product that's in the hair, if that makes sense.
That's another missing step.
I know,
Yes, thank
girl. I
you.
know. Well, look, if I put everything on the blog, we wouldn't even need
Ooh.
to meet, right? If I
Mm-hmm.
put everything in the video, we wouldn't need the blog, right? So
Everything.
everything does work together. And I tell you guys all the time, it's one product, but everything matters in your routine. So do you guys feel like we lived up to to our last meeting and when we were telling you guys how to do everything and we actually showed you guys tonight? It's really, really more simple than what we were doing, right?
It's
Yes.
okay.
And you guys can really, really see how we're going to see the retention. When we started off, let me see if I can, give me 1 second. Let me show you guys one more thing. Mm, okay. So I'm just want to show you guys just so we can talk about how, like, why is my hair not getting longer, and why is your hair getting longer? You guys see in step one, you guys see the ends, how they look a little bit like some are longer than the other, how they look a little bit scraggly and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time when people typically would comb their hair out and they would start trimming. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
those hairs we turned in when we showed you in the video, we went all the way from the root to the end and we went past the end, and those were curls. There was nothing straggly. There was
Mm-hmm.
nothing. So if you had to did that first and then
Mm-hmm.
tried to trim, you wouldn't even know where to trim because there
Mm-hmm.
is no dead hair because you went ahead and you brought it back to life. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times people trim before they get into it, and you trim, and then like even after you get done with the style, you be like, man, my hair would have been looking so much more pretty if I had my length, but you cut it all off because you're trying to go ahead and do what we were traditionally taught, which is, hey, you don't want to have any, scraggly ends. You don't want to have it, and that's totally understandable and very, very true. And we also teach that, but there's a time for everything when you're trying to maximize your results. So the way I would do it, instead of trimming before we do step one, I would probably do a light dusting on my hair in week number two. That way I can see where all my curls are. I'm not cutting anything, and then when I style my hair, I'm wondering why it looks so different and so short, and I'm not getting rid of a lot of my length that I just been fighting to grow and retain unnecessarily. Does that make different? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
does that make sense?
The light dusting is just putting the product from the root to the end.
No, dusting is a light trim. So we have like
Oh,
a
okay.
whole,
Oh, yeah,
yep.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So you just do like a light duck, like you just go from root to end with your fingertips, and then
Mm-hmm.
on the very ends where it feels a little bit like, hey, this will rub against something. That's the only part that you want to clip. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then when you're applying, just go past, from the root past. I say from the root past the tip. Make sure that you're covering it, and you will
Mm-hmm.
not have any of those scraggly ends anymore. They will
Mm-hmm.
seal, they will form, and they will grow. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Here,
Okay.
Marie.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, this is Regina.
Hi,
Uh,
Regina.
I was just gonna tell people too. They may want to look on YouTube at a video called Diva Cut, Diva, Diva Cut, and uh they always cut hair after it's already been they shampoo it, condition it, let it dry, and your actual curls are there,
Oh,
so you can see how you just shape it from the way your hair is naturally falling. So that may help
yes.
them to be able to see what you're talking about a little better.
Thank you, Regina. And it is so
You're
good to
welcome.
see you, Cuzzy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good to be seen and not seen.
Oh, I know that's right. Okay. So is everybody happy with everything tonight? You guys got it?
Yeah. Yes. You know what? Is it too late for me to make the conversion and switch to the new, but my subscription?
Who was that?
Kim. It's Kim.
No, it's not too late. It's
Okay.
not too
I
late
think
at
I'm
all.
gonna make the jump.
I thought you already had the new Q.
No, I still have the old.
Oh, girl, you gotta get into 2026 with us, girl.
No, I have I ordered it separately and I've been using it and I like it a lot. So now
Good.
I have to switch over
You're
for
gonna
the
see
subscription.
even you're gonna see even better results with this application technique. I promise you.
Well, honestly, I did it and then when I washed my hair was softer. And I
Yes.
have 4C hair and it was soft. I was like, so that was amazing.
Good. I'm so happy, guys. It's gonna only get better from here, I promise you. And especially with these retention techniques, if you guys follow the technique that I showed you tonight, you're gonna have noticeable growth within 90 days. Do your own 90-day challenge. You don't have to have you don't have to wear the bun all the time or anything. You can do everything with the technique I just showed you while leaving your hair down and still changing your hairstyles every day.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, if nobody has anything else, we'll go ahead and let Erica take us out if she will.
I sure will.
Thank you.
Welcome. If everyone would close your eyes and bow your heads. Father God, I thank you right now for this day. I thank you for watching us and keeping us and protecting us through this day. I thank you for everyone that made it to the meeting. I ask that you keep and be with them and be with the ones that weren't able to be here, Father God. I just ask that you keep and be with Emery and his family. Thank you for him availing his time for us to show us the techniques for our hair, Lord God. And we just give you all the glory and all the honor. We ask all this in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Erica.
One more announcement, guys. Just the last announcement. 2027, next year, we are all coming to Vegas, okay?
Woo!
So I just need everybody to decide
Yes.
to start thinking about between June and August, what's going to be the best time for everybody? Because it's only like about a dozen of us, and then I want you guys to all be able to bring a plus one, because I want you guys to come here and have a good time with us. But I want you to feel comfortable with somebody. If you want to bring a plus one. If not, I'm here. I'll be your plus one. Okay. So we're gonna think about what is the best time next year to have it, so we can go ahead and start planning on everything, and I can start preparing because I'm gonna make this one of the most. I'm going to tell you guys thank you so much. You guys have sewn into me so much, and I'm gonna really, really show you guys my gratitude next year. Okay,
Oh,
it's
God
our
bless you.
10th
Hey, I'm
year
Thank
anniversary,
glad.
you.
10
Nice.
years, and we are gonna party. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I love you guys. Have a good night, and we'll talk next week.
All right, Emery. God bless you.
God
Thank you.
bless you
God
God
too.
bless you
bless
Thank you
all.
y'all. Love
all.
Love
you.
you.
Love you
Bye.
guys.